A stale silence permeates the old house, like the dust on a bookshelf that's been neglected for years. The only noise that can be heard is that of the wind faintly whistling past, and the hiss of the sand carried upon it. Within the darkly lit house sits a lonely old woman in a lightly tattered armchair. She slowly flips through the pages of an aging book. With each page, her eyes need only land on the first word before a complete recollection of its contents is pulled from her memory, but out of principle, she continues to skim through them anyway. An oil lamp burns brightly beside her, casting its light in solitude. Electric lights hang overhead, and several partially used candles have been placed across the room, but the generator rarely sees use, and the candles need to be rationed. A gust of wind blows against the large windows. The woman looks up from the pages, gazing out into the desert night. She stares at the dry shrubs and yellowed grass as they lifelessly sway in the wind. Poking out from amidst the dead plants, her eyes land on the disintegrating rib cage of an animal carcass. In the distance, she spots a swirling cloud of sand that grows closer with each second. Flinching, the woman turns to look over her shoulder and fixes her eyes upon the front door. Her brow furrows as she stares at the cracked paint in the dark. What the hell? Time passes slowly as she continues to watch the door, but the knocking doesn't return. Eventually, she turns back. Her gaze passes through the window and searches the horizon. Nothing. Just an aching feeling that there's something she's missing. Something vital. Did I really just hear that? No. It's not possible. I'm hearing things. She returns to the book in her hands. A few minutes pass. The wind begins to howl, and the knocking fades from her thoughts. The book smacks against the floorboards as she stands straight out of her seat, thoughtlessly abandoning her hold of it. She turns her back to the window and stares squintingly at the door. No. How can... The hair on the back of her neck stands up, and she grows conscious of every breath. The floorboards creak with a painful sound as she takes a step towards the door. Wincing slightly at the noise, then suppressing her rising nerves, she walks across the noisy floorboards and up to the door. Now shrouded in darkness, she looks the door up and down. The wind blew something into the door. Yeah, that's gotta be it. The woman steps up, peering through the peephole. The porch is pitch black. She steps back, glancing once more at the oil lamp. As she starts walking over to it, a quiet instinct in the back of her mind whispers to her, "Don't. Please don't go out there." Stopping abruptly, she slowly looks around the room as a profound feeling of wrongness washes over her. Trusting the feeling, the woman turns instead towards the kitchen, opens the utility closet, and crouches beside the generator. She checks the circuit breaker, flips the fuel valve on, and yanks the pull cord hard. The generator thrums to life. Stepping up to the door again, she stares at the light switch just beside it. Her hand hovers over the switch, ready to flick the porch light on. But something gives her pause. It's just a piece of trash or something. That's all. The tiny peephole instantly fills with a warm light as the woman flips the switch. Slowly bringing one eye over the peephole, she carefully scans the illuminated porch. There's nothing. Nothing but the brightly shining light bulb and an empty bench. Feeling relieved, she checks the deadbolt just to be sure, then returns to her chair. After grabbing the book from off the floor, she starts to sit down again when she hears it. The woman recoils, darting away from the chair and backing into the opposite corner of the room from the front door. No, there's nothing else left. It's just me. How can this... As a rush of adrenaline fills her system, the woman grits her teeth, marches up to the mantel, and pulls down the rifle that's displayed there. After taking a glimpse into the loaded chamber, she closes the bolt and fires one round through the top left corner of the wooden door. Silence. Heart racing and breathing heavily, the woman walks up to the door. She turns the deadbolt, twists the knob, and pushes the door open with the barrel of her rifle. Nothing. Not a single thing looks different or out of place. The porch light continues noisily buzzing while casting its warm glow upon the deck. The wooden boards look as dry and dusty as ever, the bench is empty as always, and the lifeless desert remains silent. Chambering another round, she steps through the door while scanning the horizon with her gun raised. The howling of the wind grows stronger and stronger until a cloud of sand and wind consumes the house. Throwing an arm up to cover her face, she squints and curses under her breath. The woman tries to peer through the veil of illuminated sand. She can barely keep her eyes open. She trudges back towards the door before glancing into the storm one last time. A silhouette emerges from deep within the cloud. It takes a moment for her to notice it, but when she does, she says, "Don't move, or I'll shoot!" The silhouette gets closer and closer. The woman squeezes the trigger, only to hear a spine-chilling click. It's jammed. Her eyes drop to the chamber of the rifle. Her hand frantically fumbles with the bolt to no avail. Her eyes lift back to the storm in a panic. The silhouette is less than 15 feet from the edge of the porch. Rushing back into the house, she slams the door closed and bolts it. The pounding of her heart fills her ears as she stands with her back pressed against the door. She grips the bolt of the rifle and pulls it halfway open before it locks into place. The wooden boards of the deck outside creak as something steps onto the porch. She feels powerless as she furiously pushes, pulls, and yanks at the bolt. Each pounding knock against the door shakes the weak frame. The door cracks under the force of each new impact. The woman's back begins to bruise as she tries to counter the onslaught. Finally, the bolt slips loose, freeing the jammed round. She speedily chambers another, takes a few quick steps away from the door, and turns to aim dead center through the frame. She squeezes the trigger as the door explodes at her in a cloud of sand and splinters. In an instant, the bullet goes off, her eyes close, and the wooden shrapnel engulfs her body. Darkness takes her. When the morning comes, the woman is nowhere to be seen, and all that remains of the house is an empty husk. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Also, make sure to check out my Patreon if you want to show the channel some support and get bonus content while you're at it. You can find a link to my Patreon as well as my other socials down in the description. Thanks again for watching. See ya.